folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Last Day of H.P. Lovecraft, Issue 1 by Boom Studios. Now there is weird and creepy shit in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, this is new. I don't know if to call it a series. I know it's going to be issue 2, but I'm not sure how long this is going to be. But yeah, I saw this, my shop advertised, and I was like, oh, I gotta get this one. I very much love the Cthulhu mythos story by H.P. Lovecraft. I finally finished reading all of them this year. I started the book quite a while ago. But anyway, I really love H.P. Lovecraft's style of writing in his horror stories. At least all the ones that I've read so far. But yes, I thought, oh, this might be interesting. Now, H.P. Lovecraft died relatively young. He was 46. And apparently died of cancer. Now, I didn't know that. I knew he died young, but I didn't know from what. So this is going to be, I guess, the story of his last day. So it starts with narration, and kind of, monologuing about existence, about death, what is life, and, well, that's a bit later on, but, how dying men, seek the refuge of the world of dreams to escape the pain. And you see all these weird images and everything, and you see, like an eye half open, and it gets bigger, and then we get to reality, if you will, where we see Howard Philip Lovecraft lying in a hospital bed, while next to him is a doctor and a nurse discussing him. We get information, his age, his marital status, does he have any children, and all that, and his diagnosis. He has cancer of the small intestines, and it's in the final stage. And the nurse is worried about giving him more morphine because she already gave him so much he might die, and the doctor telling her, at this stage, it doesn't matter. He's dead anyway soon. And also she says that someone is waiting outside. A reporter claims to be a friend of Mr. Lovecraft, and he wants to speak with him. And the doctor tells her, all right, give him 5 minutes, but no more. And then he pulls out Lovecraft's suitcase from under his bed and looks through, and there's a Conan book there. I think Robert Howard, I think he and H.P. Lovecraft knew each other. But anyway, he takes it, on the cover there's like a woman that's naked from the waist up, and he just throws the book and says, and put all this junk in the incineration afterwards, because our patients, we have more patients that need rooms. How inconsiderate. I mean, I get it, the man is dosed on morphine, but still, talking like that about him and about his stuff. Also, they talk about how he has a spinster aunt he lives with, and they should call her, and if she wants to say goodbye, she better hurry. And that's it. And then the nurse leaves the room. We have more narration about the stuff, and we see a gentleman there. His name is Ronald Carter. Oh, wait 1 second. Not Ronald. I want to tell you his name because I think he's significant to the plot. Mr. Carter. What was his name? Ah, come on. What was his name? Just a second. Randolph Carter is his name. Yeah, so the nurse leads him, tells him not to be long, and to see Mr. Lovecraft. And she takes him through the corridor, but what I didn't understand, like, you see a room now, like, they get close to the door, and each time the number of the room changes. And I wondered if there's any significance, because first it's one number, then another, and then when they finally reach the door, it's another number. I very much doubt she just let him through, to multiple doors. And that's it. He goes in, the nurse leaves. He examines the room, sees there's like medication, syringes, he sees the suitcase, his suit hanging, there's a painting of a lighthouse on a little island on the wall. And then he takes his suitcase, it looks like he's pulling out some kind of weird contraption out of it. And then he starts talking about things and quoting H.P. Lovecraft. And you also see he has a newspaper with him that it seems like the front page title keeps changing as well. So it's not really clear, what's going on. Who is this man? What does he want with H.P. Lovecraft, and is he even human? Because he keeps fixing all of these things around the room, and he's also changing out Lovecraft's suitcase, switching it for another one filled with all these books, leaving a diary called Life and Death, and a pen and stencils next to it. And then Mr. Lovecraft wakes up, and he is surprised that he doesn't feel any pain. He's like, how can this be possible? And Mr. Carter tells him, I cannot tell you that. And then he starts telling him all these things, how he was right about Pluto, and shows him photos of how it is like in the story, the Whisperer from the Dark. And, Lovecraft doesn't believe him. And he tells him all of these things, and I can't tell you where I know this from. I was sworn to secrecy. And we see also the clock on the wall, and a lot more than 5 minutes seem to pass. So it's almost like this dreamlike state. What's going on? Is this reality? Is it not? What is happening? Because we also see, prior to that, Mr. Carter seems to put an IV with something red in it into Mr. Lovecraft's arm. And it's all very bizarre and, the fantastical, like in the descriptions of Lovecraft's books themselves as well. And so he tells him all these things, and Lovecraft doesn't believe him. And then Mr. Carter says, oh, you're like your characters. That they don't believe the thing that's in front of them. And not in front of them. And also he's interested in his name, because there's John Carter from Mars. And he wonders about his name. So yeah, who is this Mr. Carter? There's at some point also a rat, essentially crawls out of his trouser leg, which is very weird. Here we go. You have the utmost difficulty admitting that anything out of the ordinary could happen, just like your characters. And then, there's also this, like, weird-looking telescope in his room, it would seem, in all of that. You got all these wild images. And then he asks Mr. Carter to leave him alone. And then the man says, well, why don't you come have a look for yourself? And he's like, no. And then the nurse comes back and says, all right, it's time for you to leave. Mr. Lovecraft needs his rest. And when we look at the clock, everything seems normal. And then he tells him, this means that even death may die. Think about it. It's your last chance. And then we see Lovecraft sitting up in bed, and there's this fantastical image of mountains and either a black moon or a black hole, I'm not sure. And then he gets up and looks like there's a noise from the suitcase full of books. And then Mr. Lovecraft grabs the notebook or the diary that was left by Mr. Carter, and he starts writing in it. And what he writes is, what do you call it? I think a letter to Robert E. Howard. I haven't read all of it because it's got that cursive writing, which I struggle with a bit. Should at some point get to reading that one. But yeah, he basically writes to him. Looks like almost a goodbye letter. So you see him writing, then there's the letter, and that's it. The issue ends there. There's no to be continued or anything. That's just where it ends. Okay, so first we got the cover. This is a fantastic cover. Slightly reminds me of Mike Mignola's style, but the colors are... They're like Mr. Mignola's art style. This would be... There would be less toning in all of this, a little bit less. But it does remind me of it. Mr. Jacob... I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce his surname, honestly, but he has a fantastic art style. I really love it. I'm pretty sure he drew the cover. It's so catchy because you got all this red mountains around, and then you got the figure of H.P. Lovecraft right here. It's very cool. Now let me show you some of the art. Okay, those are the names. Okay, so you see, look at these images. That's awesome. It's just absolutely beautiful. I love it. Now, if Mr. Mignola ever did another, if I could have a team and make another Hellboy story, I'd have Mr. Mignola write it, and then this gentleman do the art. You see? There you got the... Look at all these reds. You see, that's the eye. And okay, I'll show you this one too. You see? And then that eye, and from that we make a transition to Lovecraft's face. Can't show you further, I already showed a bit too much. But yeah, the beautiful art style, fucking awesome. As always in Boom Studios, there's quite a fair bit of covers. Not a lot, but there's a few variants, naturally. Okay, now for the story. Now, there might have not been that much for this first issue, but everything is just so cool. Yeah, that did feel of Lovecraft's descriptions of this, one of his characters seeing something so bizarre and outwardly, like the same that happened to him with his time with Mr. Carter. Because, the time seemed to move and move, like an hour passed, but then when the nurse came in, it was just 5 minutes. And that's it. And it's like, wait, what happened? Was this real? Who is Randolph Carter? What is he doing there? Where is he from? And he even says, my predecessor, John Carter. I think Robert E. Howard wrote John Carter from Mars, right? I believe he did. So that's why he recognized him. And I forgot to mention this man, Randolph Carter, he says, I read all of your stories, and even ones in a magazine that Lovecraft printed himself. So that's another reason why he doesn't believe him. He's like, how would you know that? That's a really old publication. And yeah, this is just so cool. I mean, not just like that, Mr. Lovecraft is considered the father of horror, after all. So yeah, this is really cool. I definitely look forward to see what issue 2 is gonna have. Then I mentioned again, it's gonna be like his last day. Lovecraft, at least according to here, died in 15th of March, was it? 1937. And in the story, at least, he was admitted to the hospital on the 13th of March. or that day that they're talking about him, it's the 13th of March. So, and then Mr. Lovecraft has 2 more days to live. And then he will die. But then, where's it gonna take it? I'm also curious if it's gonna be like a little mini-series with how many issues exactly, though. I imagine they wouldn't make it a super long one, would they? Although, who knows? I've never heard of this writer, and another thing, this is actually translated from, I'm not gonna even attempt to pronounce the writer's name, but yeah, it's, fucking hell, even the translator's name is complicated. It doesn't say from what language, though. But yeah, the writer is not English, it would seem. So that's cool. And interesting what language it is. I'm sure I can find it online. But yeah, this has been a really interesting and bizarre weird in the best way possible. I really, really loved it. And I already have issue 2. I'm subscribed to the series, so we'll see how long this is going to be. But yeah, I think if you love H.P. Lovecraft stories and you want a little, I suppose, a weird little bizarre story about his last day, this might be for you. We'll see how it continues. Alright, folks, so let me know what you thought of the last day of H.P. Lovecraft, issue 1. And remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!